What's up, guys? Welcome to Groveside Chat. I'm your host, Caleb here. Christian will not be joining me today. He's had some family affairs that he is taking care of, so y'all keep him and his family in your prayers. They had a death of a loved one, and that's about as far as I'm going to go because I don't think he wants me to share all the information, but y'all keep them in your prayers for sure. We are here today to discuss the post-game of Ole Miss, our beloved Rebels, versus Southeastern Louisiana, the mighty Roaring Lions. It was a horrible game, to say the least. Last week, I told y'all I expected to see John Rice Plumlee and Grant Tisdale and some of the other guys get action. They did not, because the Rebels decided not to play ball yesterday. They decided it wasn't a legitimate football game. It wasn't a game in which we should be focused, should be taking care of business, should be, trying to dominate early on in order to get other guys reps. And today I'm actually joined by a special guest. His name is Jonah. We call him Joner. He's actually my younger brother. He knows a thing or three about the Ole Miss football team. He doesn't know as much as I do, of course, but he knows a couple of things. Joner, this is where you introduce yourself.
Hi guys, I'm Jonah. Just glad to be on Caleb's show today. Filling in for Burford here. Ready to talk about some Ole Miss football. Maybe we can figure out some problems.
All right, that was enough from him. I'm kidding. Jonah, what did you think about the game yesterday?
I thought it was a very poor game. It was just not well executed on either side of the ball, especially the offensive scheme was horrendous.
Did you think that was the result of the offensive line playing poorly, or Rich Rodriguez drawing up a bad game plan, or kind of both working together?
I think we're going to bypass both of those, and just the lack of care throughout the week and practice seemed to be the biggest flaw.
Do you think there was a lack of care altogether throughout the week, or do you think they were more focused on the upcoming Cal game more than they were against Southeastern Louisiana?
I think that Cal was more the focus here, and looking ahead past Cal to Alabama, of course. Our focus was not on the game ahead the week before, obviously yesterday with Southeastern Louisiana. It shows because the players didn't look like they cared, that no effort was shown.
Yeah, I'm in a couple of group messages with a bunch of guys who are big Ole Miss fans. We get along, and I fought tooth and nail. Like last year against Southern Illinois University, when we were down 38-35 at half, and some of the guys were saying that Longo didn't expand upon his playbook. I'm like, how do you expand upon a 3-play playbook? Yeah. I mean, it's like you have 3 plays. But that's a different story for a different day. I would fought tooth and nail against that notion that we didn't care, didn't try. And I said, no, it wasn't that we didn't care, didn't try. It was just that we're just not a great team. But that was last year's defense and last year's team. And last year's defense did show up yesterday. I mean, Southeast Louisiana had the ball. I mean, if they didn't throw 3 interceptions yesterday, we could have lost that ball game. I don't think it would have gotten to that point. I think if it came down to crunch time, we would have stepped up to the plate and would have won it and would have just kind of imposed our will that we had at some point. But, I mean, I don't know, though. The offensive line was just getting annihilated up front. That was a kind of a big word salad, but what I'm trying to say is I fought tooth and nail against that notion, but my mind might have been changed yesterday. We didn't expand upon the playbook. We didn't do anything risky. It looked like we weren't putting forth any effort, and the one side of the ball that needed to put forth effort, really the offensive line, who isn't superior to anybody, just was winded and destroyed from the get-go. Like, it looked like they were a junior high offensive line going up against grown men. Explain what you saw from the likes of Eli Johnson, Ben Brown, Alex Givens, Royce Newman, and then Nick Broker, and I can't remember, Mike Howard.
I saw they weren't blocking. Every time we would try to run the ball at the beginning of the game, of course, get 0 yards, lose yards. We have great talent in the backfield, with Scotty Phillips and Ely and even Snoop. And these guys should be getting, on Southeastern Louisiana, at least 6-7 yards a carry, at least. And that's just to penetrate through the line, but obviously we were not penetrating at all. We were
no penetration.
Their D-line was coming straight through every play.
Like a normal weekend for you. Sorry, bad joke, y'all. Don't listen to that, kids. So if you had to give a team MVP yesterday, who would be the team MVP?
Definitely Jerrion Ely.
Yeah. Did you like what you saw from him yesterday?
Yes, he really flexed his muscles, and he was all over the field, whether it was on the return game, whether it was rushing, receiving. He was all over.
Yeah, I did like what I saw from Ely yesterday. Like, I had seen him play at Jackson Prep. Obviously, I live 3 miles away from Jackson Prep, and so I remember watching him in high school, football and baseball. Great dual sport athlete. I mean, he'd probably be a good basketball player, too, just because of the speed alone. But he has this electric speed, this breakaway speed, that where he gets open field, you're not catching up to him.
No.
I've seen guys in the past like Wilkins, where he'd get open field, you can catch up to him. Even Scotty, to a certain extent, you can catch up to him. But Ely, once he's gone, he's gone. There is no catching up to him. There's no getting him down once he's already passed you. I mean, you're not going to get there. He's got the open field. He's gone for a touchdown. That kickoff return was impressive.
And I think it's good to see as a true freshman, coming straight out of high school, improving his talent.
He'll prove it on the baseball field, too.
4 or 5-star coming out of high school.
He was a 5-star until he committed to us.
And you downgraded a little bit?
Yeah, because he committed to us. The NCAA hates us, dude. There's no doubt there's a conspiracy about them against us. But, yeah, I did like what I saw from Jerrion Ely. He seemed like to be the only player on the team who cared. And I'm going to give some of his stats. So Jerrion Ely had 9 carries for 95 yards and a touchdown. He averaged 10.5 yards per carry. Scotty is our warhorse, right? He is our number 1 running back. He's our best running back. He's arguably the best player on our team right now.
Yeah.
26 carries for 103 yards. So I'm glad he got over that 100-yard threshold, but why didn't he have that early on in the game?
It's offensive line.
I mean, what is Eli Johnson just not blocking anybody?
They're not blocking.
No.
Refuse
What
to
is
block.
up with that? And I'm going to give some team stats. I mean, Corral was 6 carries for negative 28 yards, which he took sacks. I mean, it was not good. It was not pretty. And then he turned the ball over later in the game and almost cost us the game because of that. So I'm going to give some stats for both teams. And I want to highlight some of these stats, too, because y'all need to really pay attention to this one stat. Cole Kelly was 0 for 1 for 0 yards. We did beat him when he was the Arkansas quarterback last year. No. But Chase and Virgil, that quarterback for Southeast Louisiana looked good. I mean, he looked good for a Southeast Louisiana quarterback. And we talked about the improvement of our Ole Miss defense, but they regressed. I mean, they went back to the last year norm. They went back to the Wesley McGriff, not lining up correctly, not teeing off on the ball.
Early on
pressure
the game,
on the quarterback.
You could see, the defense looked okay.
They had moxie.
Yeah.
They just got gashed
the
at the middle.
Early interception, what was it, first drive? Interception by Miles Hartsfield.
Hartsfield got the first. It was like the second play of the game.
Yeah. And just the offense never got going. And once your offense never gets going, we all know the defense is on the field too long. And in this case, it was longer than it should have been.
Yeah, we'll get into more of those logistics in a minute. I want to go over the stats first. Then I'm going to go to some NFL scores and maybe talk a little fantasy football in a second. But first, I'm going to give the stats. So Chase and Virgil, the quarterback for Southeastern Louisiana, he was 29 for 44, 309 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Now, that 3 interceptions might have been our saving grace yesterday.
Yes.
But yeah, that's 309 passing yards. We didn't give that up last week to Arkansas, an SEC team. And even Corral, he almost had 100 yards more passing than Corral. He had 70 yards more passing than Corral. Corral was 21 for 30, 239 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 67 quarterback rating. I mean, he was okay.
Any other team, that would have been great stats, but
I mean, he tries to force these passes where they don't need to be forced. He's always getting flushed out of the pocket, which they need to run plays where he's getting out of the pocket anyway. Just have design plays where you're having those vertical routes where also receivers are cutting through the middle because you have good slot receivers. Mingo is a great route runner.
Yeah.
Elijah Moore is a fantastic route runner. And we got Drummond, who's got big hands and can make big plays. I don't understand that. So we're going to go to the rushing. Southeast Louisiana, Devontae Williams was our leading rusher. He was 13 carries for 50 yards. And a touchdown. Marcus Cooper also had 5 carries for 27 yards and a touchdown. Why are they scoring multiple touchdowns on us like that? 4 touchdowns. That's ridiculous. Like I said, Scotty was 26 carries, 103 yards, 1 touchdown. Ely was 9 carries, 95 yards, touchdown. Snoop Connor got in a little action. He was 9 carries for 51 yards. I really like Snoop Connor. I want to see him incorporated more. Receiving-wise, Juwan Petit-Frere for Southeastern Louisiana had 3 receptions for 74 yards. That's 25 yards per reception.
It's not good.
That's nuts. What the heck was Jalen Julius doing? What the heck was Jalen Jones doing yesterday? My gosh.
They were picking flowers out there.
Y'all, everyone on you, I've had a couple of you that reached out to me after last week's podcast that told me I needed to apologize about talking down on our defense. I didn't talk down on our defense, talk down on the secondary. And it showed yesterday, y'all. Y'all doubted me. A lot of y'all did. I had 3 of you come after me on one of my group chats saying that I was wrong for that. But it was true. That secondary is horrible.
Yeah.
There's something that needs to be done about that. Armani Linton can make tackles, but he can't guard anybody. Jalen Jones continuously gets burned off the – if you play him up on the receiver, he gets burned on that second step. But, yeah, so they had another receiver, Austin Mitchell, 6 receptions, 67 yards. It's still 11 yards per reception. And then they had, a tight end, Branson Schwabel, whatever his name is, 5 receptions, 32 yards, and a touchdown. Gross. We had Elijah Moore, 7 receptions, 88 yards, which is awesome. Touchdown, great. Drummond had 2 receptions for 31 yards, awesome. But why are we trying to go deep so much? It's like looked like Phil Longo 2.0. Gregory had a reception for 20 yards. Cooley had a reception. And we had guys get receptions. I mean, pretty much everybody got a reception yesterday. But, I mean, it wasn't like we were incorporating them the way I wanted them to be incorporated. So those are the stats of the game. We got outscored in the third quarter, 12-7, which is not very promising. Now, if we're up like 58-6 and we get outscored 12-7, that's fine. Okay, if it's 18-64 or whatever, 65, I'm not mad about that. Whatever. But I mean, they were hanging in there with us. It looked like watching that Georgia State and Tennessee game where we were getting beat on these matchups. It looked like we were playing man for man. And on the offensive side of the ball, we were not dominant over them. No. We were not better than them. I mean, we had the talent. The receiving talent and the running talent were infinitely better than the athletes they had on defense, but their defensive line controlled the trenches. Yeah. You got to win in the trenches, especially when you're playing SEC ball. Do you think Bama's going to lighten up on us? No. Or do you think Corral's going to end up with a broken leg?
Corral's going to end up having...
Do you think LSU's going to take it lightly on us, or do you think Corral's going to get his head bashed into the ground? I mean, what is going on? Are we not going to try to protect the quarterback?
That's what it's appearing to be this year. But, I mean, 2-3 years ago with the team that weren't even supposed to be good and weren't good, we would still beat these non-conference teams 70-14, 70-21. Whatever it may have been.
I mean, last year it was 38-35 at half, but we still ended up beating Southern Illinois. What was 70-40 something?
Yeah, or 30-35. I think they scored.
70-38. Yeah,
something. And we were able to put our third strings in.
Look it up.
Guys that should have been in throughout the game yesterday. Me personally, I wanted to see John Rice Plumlee perform. I wanted to see Kincaid Dent. I want to see these new guys get some action. They can still have their red shirt. Just play a couple reps. Play a half. And just see what they're about, because they're our future too. Corral is our guy right now, but we need to see action from these young guys too.
Yeah, I agree with you. You can keep going. We ended up winning. Okay, we ended up winning that game last year, 76-41. Keep that in mind. Now, we did have DK Metcalf, A.J. Brown, and a very senior veteran-heavy offensive line. But we were getting whooped in that game in the first half, and our defense looked atrocious. And Tomlin was in there. I mean, he made big plays. Even Corral had that one where Alex Weber had that top 10, number 1 play of the week catch. We ended up imposing our will on them in the second half. We made halftime adjustments. But yesterday it looked like we made no halftime adjustments on either side of the ball. And the defense just looked unmotivated. They looked lethargic. They looked inept. They looked like they just didn't want to be there. Yeah. Now I'm going to go through some NFL scoreboard. We'll get back to the game. I'm trying to talk about the game as much as possible without blowing a gasket, because I'm still angry. My blood pressure rose significantly yesterday while watching the game. So I'm going to give you some this is going to be a little break, just talk about some NFL scores and what happened, what's going on right now in the league. And then we'll get back to the game and talk about some scheme and some upcoming stuff about Cal, which Cal is a ranked team now.
Yeah, they're going to be tough.
So in the NFL, on Thursday night, the Buccaneers beat the Panthers 20-14, a game that the Panthers really should have won. It was the Panthers' game to lose. Luke Kuechly dropped a crucial interception, which would have kind of sealed the game for the Panthers. The Panthers did have a 4th and 1. At 4th and short, it was 4th and inches, where Cam Newton literally just had to reach his arm across, get the first down. Probably would have gotten a touchdown too, but no, they said they run McCaffrey to the sideline on this diagonal play, and he ends up getting flushed out of bounds and reaches across when he was already out of bounds. So no first down. The Panthers lose. Cam Newton looked awful.
He did.
He looked horrible.
Cam Newton is...
he is not the same Cam Newton. Ever since the Broncos beat them in the Super Bowl, Von Miller must have given him CTE or something. He is just not playing well. And now, don't get me wrong. I'm not letting Jameis off the hook. Jameis was putrid too, but he did just enough to win that game. Earlier today, the Ravens beat the Cardinals 23-17, extending Lamar Jackson's 2-game win streak. It was a tale of 2 young quarterbacks in that game. The Ravens just edged out the Cardinals. Kyler Murray, he's proven me wrong. I thought he'd be bad, but he's actually playing well. He's just so athletic.
He's very athletic.
He's so athletic, and he has a good arm.
Yeah.
He's not Lamar Jackson.
That's the difference between him and Rosen.
A lot of that was sheer athleticism.
Yeah.
But Kyler Murray, he's in a really bad situation, but he's making the most out of it. The Lions edged out the Chargers. The Chargers were disappointing today.
That's an upset for the
Very
Chargers.
disappointing. They couldn't move the ball, couldn't score. Austin Eckler did all he could.
He did.
But Keenan Allen was hurting me on my other fantasy football league, not doing well. But yeah, the Lions, Matthew Stafford gets a big win, trying to keep his job, and the Lions end up winning that game. The Colts, in surprising fashion, beat the Titans, extending the Colts' win streak over the Titans.
That's crazy.
Fun fact, Andrew Luck was like 10-0 against the Titans. He never lost to them in his career with the Colts. And now Jacoby Brissett is carrying that torch and moving it forward. The 49ers destroyed the Bengals 41-17. The Bengals may not win a game this year. They may win one game against one of the games against the Steelers. They'll win that one. But the Bengals lose 41-17. Andy Dalton was awful. Garoppolo looked pretty good, but a lot of that was Breida. The running backs were real. The running back stables with the 49ers were really good. The Texans beat the Jaguars in a very vanilla game. They win 13-12. Deshaun Watson didn't look great today, but a lot of that was the Jaguars' defense too. Jalen Ramsey was really having his way with DeAndre Hopkins. And the Jaguars wouldn't expand upon the playbook. Gardner Minshew was okay today. They didn't let him. He ran a gutsy fourth down. He's getting flushed out of the pocket. Ended up getting a huge first down.
He's got
and they started opening the playbook, but it was too little, too late. The Packers were dominating this game at first, but they edged it out. Ended up beating the Vikings 21-16, which is a huge win for them. So they're 2-0 in the division now.
Yeah,
which is kind of gutsy to start off your season playing two division games.
If you told me in that division who'd be 2-0 first, I would have said the Bears.
I don't trust that Bears offense. So I don't trust Trubisky.
It's just the Bears defense is tough. Give them opportunities on offense.
It is criminal what they're doing with that offense.
It is.
It's criminal. It was like the Rebels last year with our amazing offense and how awful the defense was. And the coordinating was awful too on offense. But the Packers edged that game out. Aaron Rodgers has a really good game.
Does his thing.
He threw touchdowns to guys you've never heard of, such as Geronimo Allison. Unfortunately, the Cowboys beat the Redskins 31-21. Dak Prescott had a really good game. I say that with tears in my eyes. I'm kidding. I don't have anything against Dak. He had a good game. And the Seahawks and Steelers played. The Bills beat the Giants. You see what I did there? I'm not even going to acknowledge what happened with that Steelers. We lost 28-26. DK Metcalf had a touchdown. Wow, whatever. Good for him. Y'all can get mad at me for saying that. I was cheering against DK today. I don't care. I told I wasn't a real Rebel fan for doing that, but I mean, I was pulling for Mike Hilton and Dante Moncrief, who decides he can't. Don't feed Moncrief anymore. He can't catch. My gosh.
He decided he's full now. He doesn't need. He doesn't need the ball
He's
anymore.
been fed. He's already been fed.
He's been fed. That Egg Bowl, what, 2013, 2012? 14?
No, it was 12. It was 12.
Yeah. He got fed a lot that game, and we remember that.
Beating Jonathan Banks, but Steelers lose 28-26. Big Ben went out, didn't play the second half. Rudolph played well. Wasn't his fault. Vance McDonald had 2 touchdowns.
With the Patriots game today.
The Bills beat the Giants 28-14, which proves the Giants are still awful. But the Bills are 2-0 now.
The Bills are.
Bills are 2-0. They edged out a win against the Jets last week. The Patriots shut out the Dolphins 43-0 to the surprise of 0% of people in our country. Even Dolphins fans were like, they're going to destroy us.
Yeah.
The Raiders are up on the Chiefs in surprising fashion, 10-7. But give Patrick Mahomes time; he will put up 40-plus points on the board.
Sammy Watkins will get some reps today.
The Rams are up 3-0 on the Saints. I'm surprised that referees have not been injured in this game. The Broncos are up 3-0 on the Bears, to nobody's surprise. The Falcons play the Eagles on tonight, Sunday Night Football game, which will be a really good game. Eagles at Falcons.
I'll get the Eagles on that one.
I'll bet the Falcons, since they're a home team, and they're going to try to bounce back after losing after being humiliated in Minnesota. I think Ito Smith, because Devontae Freeman's been hurt. I think Ito Smith, former USM,
get a lot of reps.
Yeah, USM alumnus will win. Will get a lot of reps. Have a good game. I think Julio will pretty much dominate.
I'm expecting a big night from Deshaun Jackson being back.
Dude, how is he still faster than everybody?
I don't know.
Like
one of a kind.
He's like Moses receiving the 10 Commandments.
I love Carson Wentz too.
Yeah, I do too. But
he's a gunslinger too.
I think the Falcons win that game. It'll probably be like a 42-35 kind of game. Really close game. Yeah, high scoring, high powered football game.
No defense.
Falcons win, just home field. And tomorrow night we have the mighty Cleveland Browns versus the valiant New York Jets. I think 10 people will be watching. Actually, I said 10 people. Actually, millions of people will be watching because Baker Mayfield's must, and Le'Veon Bell, must see TV.
Beckham Jr., of course.
We'll see if the Browns can bounce back after being utterly humiliated by the Titans last week. I think the Jets actually win this game. The Browns showed me nothing.
Really?
The Browns showed me nothing.
I'm gonna take the Browns.
And the Browns' rush defense is horrible. Derrick Henry had his way with him. And do you think Le'Veon Bell's not going to? Who's a better running back, down for down, Henry or Le'Veon?
Oh, Bell for sure.
And Le'Veon can catch.
Yeah.
So and I say that with tears in my eyes too, because he was a former Steeler.
They're both big
I
backs.
don't hate Le'Veon as much anymore. I didn't agree with how he handled the situation, but at least he sat out and stuck to his guns and told us what he was going to do. He didn't do the punk thing like Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
So I'm not.
Story.
Oh, Antonio Brown also had a few catches for the Patriots. Had a decent game. He's in another controversy with the female thing. I'm gonna remain neutral on that. I'm not gonna speak out about it. I'm not gonna say think he's innocent or guilty. It's not my place. I'm not a judge. I'm not a jury. I'm not an executioner. So it's not my place to say whether he's innocent or guilty. We'll see how
we'll let that play.
We'll see how it all plays. The Bears just kicked a field goal, tied it up with the Broncos 3-3. Okay. But yeah, so that's the NFL scoreboard. Expect big scoring from the Eagles and Falcons tonight, and tomorrow night expect anything to happen with the Jets and Browns. I mean, the Jets can win that game 58-3. The Browns can win that game 72-0, or it could end up being like 3-2. You never know.
Yeah, one thing about that game tomorrow. Now I'm interested to see how Sam Darnold does.
He needs to bounce back after last week. It was putrid what he did.
Yeah, he's got some. Who are his top receivers this year?
That's a very good question.
That's a good question. Yeah. So
I'll tell you.
What was he? Was he a first rounder?
Yeah, Sam Darnold was like the third pick in the draft last year.
That's right. But I want to see him get some action and hopefully prove his worth. Prove that he can.
What do you think about? They have Jameson. Oh, they have Jamison Crowder. I forgot about that. And Robbie Anderson and Quincy Enunwa. And they have Ty Montgomery who can play running back and receiver.
He is right.
But I mean, Jamison Crowder's a good, serviceable slot receiver. He's not great, but he's good. He's like a C+ receiver. So that's pretty much it for the NFL stuff today. I'm going to go back to the Ole Miss. Kind of talk about the Rebels. So we have Cal coming up this week. Expect the team to look a lot more motivated and ready to play. I think it's kind of twofold. I think, this past week they were focused more on Cal than Southeast Louisiana. I may be wrong about that. That may not be the case. I'll have to listen to Matt Luke's press conference.
It looked like we weren't focused on anything.
No, they looked like they didn't care. The crowd, there wasn't a crowd there to be into the game. It was early. It was like a 3 o'clock game. 900.
What we're gonna eat for dinner tonight.
900 degrees on the field.
Deal.
But we do have Cal. It's an 11 o'clock game. Cal is ranked. They won their game against North Texas by the skin of their teeth, 23-17 yesterday. They did beat a ranked Washington. That game was kind of a fluke game. They played that game at like 4 in the morning too because of all the delays. Sure. I don't think Eason's all that. I think he's okay. I think he's all that. Yeah. But I really can't speak to our team, though. I was going to say expect our defense to show up and show out, but they didn't yesterday. I mean, losing Momo did hurt. We could see that it was weak in that middle linebacker position. I mean, Jaquez Jones was hurt at some point. Yeah, he was playing hurt yesterday, too. He made that big hit. Yeah. Almost got kicked out for targeting, which was a bogus even call that.
I'm expecting a big game from our D-line, our front, like...
The one who didn't put pressure on Southeast Louisiana?
I mean, I expect... Benito Jones,
Benito just pick plays in games he decides. He's like Robert Kimdichie, but not he's Robert Kimdichie.
The big games he'll show up, but the games that doesn't really matter, what we think doesn't matter.
He's not there. Like, he's nowhere to be seen.
But he's got talent. We see it.
But we can't give up 300-plus passing yards to Cal. Cal isn't a high-powered offense. They win games very close. You saw that yesterday.
Well, they beat us in 2014. Close.
Yeah, but I mean that was a
bad
crap show. That was Longo's offense.
That was Shea Patterson.
Rich Rodriguez he's a much infinitely better offensive coordinator than Longo. I'm not impressed with everything he's done thus far, but I'm not 100% depressed with him either. Yeah. Because a lot of it is you have to work with your roster and your personnel. He has no personnel on that line. He has no one to work with on that line. And Corral is not consistent. Corral is still shaky. He's got to get it together. Like if he were Troy Bolton right now, I'd tell him to get his head in the game.
That was lame. But anyway, Southeastern Louisiana, their coach was talking about how he noticed in the Arkansas game that we had 8 freshmen starting on
offense.
Playing in offense. That's tough.
Well, not true freshmen because Corral's a red shirt.
I meant freshmen. Yeah, red shirt. But we have a lot of true freshmen on the team. Mingo, Ely plays a lot.
Corral, our quarterback.
He's a red shirt.
I mean, you got Broker on the offensive line. Yeah. I mean, Ben Brown's a sophomore. We have a senior-heavy offensive line, but they're not good seniors. No. Like, Royce Newman is not a good – he's either a junior or a senior. He's not a good senior. Eli Johnson's not a good senior. No. Ben Brown's a very good sophomore. He's good. Alex Givens –
I believe –
Alex Givens has been underwhelming. He's still coming back from the injury, so the verdict's still out on him. We'll see what happens.
Go back to yesterday. You talked about the long ball. Why? I get it, Southeastern Louisiana, but still, let's get a actual
Gash the middle.
Yeah.
Nickel and dime.
Let's get a routine going.
What you
We
do
need
is you
something
start
going.
in the ground. You get 4 or 5 yards of carry. You pick up a big carry. You start running these slants up the middle. Then they start playing their safeties up on you. They start tightening up. Then you hit them on the deep ball.
I mean, it almost looked like we were playing an Alabama defense.
Yeah.
The way our offense looked.
Gosh, it was bad.
Nobody was getting open.
I think a lot of it was Rodriguez didn't open up his playbook much. He should have. I mean, if you're playing down for down with Southeast Louisiana, do whatever it takes just to impose on them. Stupid love bug. Sorry, we're recording outside. It's kind of fun in this Mississippi heat and humidity. It doesn't feel horrible today, though.
It's good. We're in the shade, too.
But that's pretty much it on the Ole Miss game. We can beat a dead horse as much as we want.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm proud
what's
of
done's done.
I'm proud of what I
That's
saw
fine.
from Jerrion Ely. I'm proud of what
That's
I
good.
saw from other players on the team too. I mean, obviously I like Snoop Connor a lot. Corral, I don't just see the mistakes he makes. I see his upside. I see what he can do.
Like, if you look at Ely's stats compared to Scotty Phillips, they're like 9 carries for 95 yards. That's really good.
Oof.
And when you look at Scotty Phillips, 26 carries for 105 yards.
Yeah.
Not impressive because the amount of carries he had, like 4 yards of carries, about right. Biggest thing I think with Ely is his speed. He's explosive.
Well, that's why I said that explosive speed. You're not
Yeah.
catching up to him.
No,
You're not bringing
and
him down.
Smaller schools like
Once-
Southeast Louisiana they don't have guys like
once
that.
you get past, once he gets past you, I mean, you're not running him
No.
down. That's not happening.
No.
He's scoring. You
Unless
might
he's
as well-
gassed out.
You might as well. He doesn't gas out
No.
though. You
No.
might as well just stop and just thank him for being in your
Thank
thank
you.
him for allowing
for-
you to be in his presence. Okay, so we're gonna go over some college football scores too. We had some games Friday and games yesterday. I want to talk about some of those games. So Friday night we had a controversial game between Wake Forest and North Carolina. Should have been controversial. Wake Forest was whipping them from the get-go,
Yeah.
and Wake Forest, they had maintained that lead. It would have been controversial at all, but it was 24-18. North Carolina did have a second left on the clock. The referee, that was officiating malpractice. And it was very cowardly for the referees to run off the field like they did,
Yeah.
like a bunch of wusses. Like that really bothered me.
Yeah.
Mac Brown
Own up.
had every right to be mad at them.
Oh,
He had
of
every
course.
right to cuss
I mean-
them. And if he called them out and got fined, I would start a GoFundMe to pay that fine.
Yeah.
And the GoFundMe title would be like, "Screw yourselves, referees," because like. After what happened with the Saints last year in the NFL, I've been very iffy on officials, and officials have
That
been
was rough.
horrible. Horrible.
That was obvious call, multiple times.
Yeah.
It happens throughout the year. Obvious calls that don't
How are
get-
these officials so bad? I mean, they might as well hire Helen Keller
It's not
to
like they're
call
not
these
getting
games.
paid a lot of money to officiate
I know,
these games. And they
but
should be well.
We
well
don't know.
endowed.
We don't know that North Carolina would have won the game. They probably wouldn't have, but they would have had a
No.
chance.
But it would have still
And
gave
I'm
them
not
a chance.
And I'm not crying. I'm not saying I'm not a North Carolina sycophant or anything. I don't care. The Phil Longo's team. So I mean, wish him the best. But Wake Forest wins that game.
The
Kansas.
high-powered offensive Longo gave them 18.
Boston College was a heavy favorite to beat Kansas, and Les Miles' corn dog Jayhawks pulled it out in crazy fashion. I mean, they
Doubled.
scored what was it, like 27 points unanswered? It was
Yeah.
like 17-7 at one point. They scored 27 unanswered to win that game 48-24. Kansas was just physically imposing and dominant. Washington State pulled it out of their booties to beat Houston on Friday night in the Advocare kickoff game,
Yeah.
the game that we played last year against Texas Tech in NRG Stadium. That quarterback for Washington State looks good. They have a little running back that's like Christian McCaffrey that looks really good. He's fun to watch. To the surprise of none, Georgia beat Arkansas State 55-0. If they played Arkansas,
Their first half should have been how ours should have been. It was,
If it was
35-0.
yeah, that's how it should have been with
That's
us. I agree.
ridiculous. Like,
But
we couldn't even-
if it were Arkansas against Georgia, the score would have been very similar too.
yeah.
Penn State edged out Pittsburgh. People were saying Penn State's done. I disagree. The weather was really bad in
Very
that game.
sloppy
Bad
game.
elements.
Very, very
Having to
sloppy.
win that one in the trenches, they did.
Yeah.
Ohio State beat Indiana 51-10. Notre Dame beat New Mexico 66-14 to the surprise of none. Alabama was given a challenge early on with South Carolina. Ryan Helinski, whatever his name is. Is it Nick Helinski?
It's something.
It's Helinski.
Yeah.
I think it's Nick. I'm getting my names mixed up. But Helinski
I'll
looked,
tell you though, watch it.
I like him. I like
I was
him.
back and forth in the Ole Miss
Why
game
did they start
and
Bentley?
Why didn't they?
Why did they? No, Bentley's hurt.
Oh.
Why did they start him to start the season? I don't care that he's a ninth-year senior.
He's not.
I don't care.
He's not impressive.
He's not good.
Not good.
No.
I'll tell you one thing. Watching early on, I watched a lot of this game, and South Carolina looked like they have a lot of potential, especially on the defensive side. I mean,
Muschamp's going to have him back.
the score doesn't show anything. Bama imposed their will, which they always do. This is because South Carolina.
I mean, how are you going to stop Judge Judy?
But hey, they would make stops, and the offense would not capitalize on it. They would get to where they could, kick a field goal, miss a field goal, get the ball back. The defense gave them plenty of opportunities throughout this game to make it.
So what you're telling me is Bama is beatable?
Yes.
Do you think LSU beats them this year?
It's early. It's too early to say.
Yes,
but if anyone will
I
do
do.
it in SEC regular season,
LSU is going to beat Bama this year. Mark my words.
And I think you might disagree with me, but I think A&M will give Bama a decent game.
I think they'll give them fits, but I don't think they'll.
I'm gonna give it a 10-point game.
No. That's an incorrect opinion, as I would say. UCF whooped Stanford 45-27. The former reigning national champs, the Golden Knights.
The Golden Knights.
They look good. They're awesome, dude. They're awesome.
Right there.
Arizona State beat Michigan State 10-7 in a surprise game, underdog fashion. On the road.
Dropped them out.
Yeah, dropped them out of the top 25 rankings.
They
they replaced them in a way. But Michigan State was underwhelming. Only put up 10 points. Only put up 7 points. I mean, Arizona State wasn't awesome either, but the great defensive
field goal. Remember? They called the penalty and reversed it, and then they came back out and missed it.
Yep, they did.
Just push that.
Push it bad. Push it real good.
Push it
real good. But that game with Herm Edwards gets another win, proving that old coaches can still coach.
He can do it.
Iowa wins by the skin of their teeth against Iowa State. That was the college game day game yesterday. They win 18-17 in Ames, a hostile environment.
Very interesting game. I mean, very
Nate Stanley
tight.
edged out Brock Purdy. The commentators on game day were saying that Stanley is a much better quarterback than Purdy. I fervently disagree. I think Brock Purdy's a really good quarterback. I like him, dude.
Yeah.
Like him and Corral are very similar.
Yeah.
They're both very
moxie.
They're very wildly inconsistent.
Yeah.
But they got moxie. They don't care. They're not intimidated.
They have potential.
They're not intimidated by anybody.
Yeah.
I like Brock Purdy. Keep on the lookout for this Iowa State team. They will be good. They'll win probably 8 games this year.
Tough.
If we can somehow find a way to get to a bowl game this year, that might be a team we play. I would like to play. No, I'd like to play them in football. But it'd be a good test. It'd be a fun game. It'd be a fun game.
We have a young team.
But I don't want to see that quarterback matchup, man. Corral versus Purdy. Plus, I talked to Iowa State fans last year after the debacle in the pavilion where they shot 79%. Not literally. They shot 70%.
It was ridiculous.
We shot 12%.
It's like everything that would shoot would go in.
Falling down backwards off the pinky, and it somehow swishes. But
in the stands.
I'd want to see us against Iowa State.
Stuff.
Utah beat Idaho State 31-0 to the surprise of nobody. Cal is number 23 now. They beat North Texas 23-17 at home.
Slow game.
Auburn was struggling with Kent State early. It was like 14-10 at one point, but they ended up pulling away, which we should have done yesterday. But Auburn they ended up pulling away 55-16.
Their talent on them.
That defensive line's nasty.
Yeah. The offense is okay.
Texas A&M beat the mighty Lamar 62-3 in a surprise game. Millions were shocked. Florida, in an awful, horrible game, beat Kentucky. Kentucky should have won that game.
What happened to Felipe Franks? Thoughts and prayers go out to him.
It wasn't tragic to the Florida football team though, because the team just got 10 times better.
The team once the backup came in, a lot better. What's his name? Trask. I think it's Trash.
Well, he needs his last name to be Trash and give it to Franks. But poor Franks. Prayers to him and his family.
Yeah.
Hope he recovers well. The Florida football team seems to have recovered already.
I mean, it's sad to say.
Felipe Franks will be in the he'll be in the transfer portal.
Yeah, when he went down,
he'll be playing for Oklahoma next year, and we'll have Heisman numbers.
Probably not.
Speaking of that, Jalen Hurts was freaking awesome.
Speed like
Jalen Hurts, but he can run. He's big though, and he's hard to take down.
He is.
Virginia beat Florida State. Willie Taggart's seat just got a lot hotter. I mean, Virginia is a good team, but Florida State's bad.
A lot of talent.
They're bad.
Not being
wasted talent. Clemson, in the game where they have struggled the past few years, ended up dominating. They beat Syracuse 41-6 in a good game. Good game for Clemson. Trevor Lawrence showed out.
Yeah.
Washington beat Hawaii 52-20. It's weird that they're ranked number 22 because they did lose the Cal. I was thinking of Oregon, not Washington. Yeah. Forgive me. Ignore that. I just said Washington beat Hawaii 52-20. No surprise there. TCU whooped Purdue 34-13. Kind of surprising. I thought Purdue would hang in there a little bit more. I thought it'd be a closer game because Purdue has a good coach, good team. LSU, it doesn't show their ranking, which is weird, beat Northwestern
They're
State.
4.
Yeah, they should be. They should be 3 or 2 or 1, but I'm just kidding.
How
But
about
number
1?
4 is good. 4 is good for them.
4 is good. For now.
They beat Northwestern State, the mighty Northwestern State, 65-14. Texas dominated Rice in a kind of a bounce back game where they needed to dominate, 48-13. Oklahoma, it was all Jalen Hurts here, put up like 400 plus yards. Awesome,
Like
great
he's
game.
done every game so far.
They won 48-14. Boise State beat Portland State 45-10. And Oregon beat the mighty Montana Grizzlies 35-3. I mean, Oregon's putting up some numbers.
Yeah.
After last week, they put up 77. There were other games that happened yesterday. I don't know why it's not showing like all these games. It's showing some. Oh, there we go. I was missing some of them.
Yesterday's?
Yeah, these are some.
No, it's not yesterday's.
No,
Last
it's
week.
not. That's last week. Why is it not showing some of the other games? Well, we had other games. Mississippi State fell to Kansas State. That was an SEC game.
Yeah.
Kind of a wild game.
It was wild.
Sloppy,
It was very
sloppy on both
sloppy.
sides of the ball. State was dropping passes that they should have caught. They could have secured the game at certain points. They were dropping passes, but Kansas State could have won that game by 30, but they were muffing.
What do you think about this backup quarterback Garrett Schrader?
I think he's good. I think he's a good future quarterback. He's
so.
like he can run like Fitzgerald, not as fast, and he can throw like Dak,
Yeah.
not as accurate. So he's kind of like a hybrid between those two. He's not as
moxie,
he's got
say.
moxie. He's like Corral. He's not scared of anybody.
Yeah.
He can also fly. We
came in there
We saw
confident.
him take flight. I mean, he jumped. Michael Jordan was jealous of his hops yesterday. Dude was in the air, just
I don't know if you
floating.
could say it was his height, his hops, or also the fact that 3 linebackers repelled him.
Just threw him up. It was like he was on a
space.
trampoline.
I mean-
Kansas State ended up winning that game in surprise fashion. It was very shocking. I didn't expect that to happen. I thought Mississippi State would kind of dominate them a
Muscle
little bit.
through, yeah.
I thought they'd beat them by
Talent.
10-14. Kind of just impose their will on them talent-wise. But that defensive line needs some work.
Yeah.
Their defensive line needs work.
It's not, I mean, losing those guys last year.
Yeah,
was big.
losing Simmons, Sweat, and Abrams was crucial for them.
Big.
I think losing Fitzgerald was crucial too. Although
Yeah.
he wasn't an accurate passer and he did cost them the games, he
But
was
their
still
majority run.
Well, he took control. He controlled the offense in a way that I don't think Tommy Stevens is
No,
comfortable.
I don't see it.
think he's comfortable yet. I think he's a good player.
I think he is.
He's got talent.
Definitely has better arm.
He has a really good arm. He's
Yeah.
a phenomenal arm. I just don't think he's comfortable yet in that leadership position. I
Yeah.
think he will be. I mean, as the season progresses, he'll be fine. He'll come into his own. I think they'll be okay.
I'm not
I
a
think
big,
they can
I'm
still
not a
win.
big Moorhead guy. Obviously,
Hey.
Fitzgerald and Prescott had
We're
Dan
Ole
Mullins.
Miss fans,
Good coach.
and I'm not saying this with a homer hat. I'm really not either. But I'm seeing this from State fans too. Dog Smack is a guy.
yeah.
TK Stark's a guy I follow on Twitter. Real friendly guy. He is not a fan of Moorhead. He calls him Jughead.
Well, even I was talking to one of our buddies, Wes, yesterday, and he was saying he doesn't believe in Moorhead.
A lot of people
It's
don't.
not the same. He doesn't have the same charisma.
That system he
that-
runs isn't good. He doesn't expand on the playbook much.
He's running. Was it?
But give him a
Big
chance.
Ten.
Give him a chance to get his own talent, and we'll see it change up a little bit.
We'll see.
Another game I watched. Southern Miss beat Troy 47-42. I'm actually wearing a USM hat that was given to me at the Mississippi State Fair last year for free. It's a nice hat. Yes, Patrick Mahomes 42-yard touchdown. Got some fantasy football points right there, boys.
Yeah, not doing good.
Let me look at this. Let me get on Sling real quick so I can watch NFL Red Zone.
Breeze got hurt.
Oh, Drew Brees is hurt? No. But yeah, the Golden Eagles edged out Troy. Troy was like 18-3 in their last 21 games. So now they're 18-4 in their last 22. Southern Miss looked good yesterday, man. Jack Abraham had 2 touchdowns, 463 yards. Quez Watkins, who is an NFL talent. What happened to Brees?
Okay, it says Breeze was hit on his throwing hand by Aaron Donald right when he was releasing a pass.
So like what happened to Big Ben?
Yeah, and he was sent sideline to get his thumb and hand taped up. Teddy Bridgewater's in the game while Breeze stands on the sideline.
The Saints are lucky to have Bridgewater, though.
Yeah,
Bridgewater's a
Bridgewater
good
is a
backup.
steal
He's
for
a
a
very good
backup.
backup. He's like the Nick Foles of backups. Of course, Nick Foles is a starter, but hurt now. Poor Nick Foles. Pray for him. He got hurt last week. The Saints' defense is good though. They just pulled Brandon Cooks back. Holy cow, you're getting destroyed, dude. I pray for Jonah's fantasy football team. He has 36 points right now, and his whole team is
That's
pretty
it?
much playing. Yeah, he's done. He is Texas toast. My team is doing well. Mahomes just got me some big
great.
points. But going back to that Southern Miss game, though, Quez Watkins is awesome. He's an NFL wide receiver. Like, you'll see him in big games in the league. He is talented. He could have been an SEC receiver. I think he had grades issues. I don't know the whole story, but very talented, very phenomenal. Troy was 18-3. They won like their last 15 at home. Huge win for the Golden Eagles.
Big win.
If you guys, if you want to watch like a team that's a lower tier team, like you want to support a team in Mississippi, obviously other than the Rebels, who's not obviously SEC, a group of 5 team. If you want to pull for a group of 5 team, pull for the Golden Eagles. That's a team I've pulled for my entire life. I've gone to 1 million games in M.M. Roberts Stadium. I genuinely love the Golden Eagles. They're my second team behind the Rebels, of course. The Rebels, Power 5, SEC. Like, that's my favorite team. I bleed red and blue. But when I'm not cheering for the Rebels, I'm watching the Golden Eagles and supporting them. I encourage y'all to do the same thing, too. It's good to have another team, another perspective on a team who's not as blessed as we are to get the same talent that we get, right? Like, we're able to get 4- and 5-star talent, and we're able to recruit with NFL-caliber facilities. They don't have that. And you can see how coaches make the most of their players, whereas last year we made the least of our players, which was abysmal. The Rams are lucky this game's at home right now, too, because if that was in the Dome, the referees there'd be referee carcasses being carried off the field right now. Man, the Coliseum. You can see the Pac-12 logo. They had to take off this morning. It's crazy because UCLA played their last. Oh, UCLA is abysmal, by the way. Chip Kelly's going to get fired if he doesn't get it together.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp.
All right, y'all. That's pretty much going to – you have any thoughts?
I just hope we prepare for this week. You know, don't take Cal lightly. They're ranked.
Oh, yeah.
We need a big game. We need this win.
We got to pack. It's an 11:00 game, which is good because their body clocks will be off because that'll be 9 o'clock for people. And California fans hate us.
Plus, the humidity here is different.
They'll have to wake up at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
They'll probably have indoor practice facility heaters on, and humidifiers on, so they can get used to our humidity. But if y'all are going to be at the vault, let me know. We can hang out. I can sign autographs for you. I'm just
don't waste your time with that.
Take pictures and I'll sign babies' foreheads if you want me to. I was gonna say something else, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm not Ricky Bobby, but yeah. But what? So Jonah, I'll ask you some other things outside of football. What have you been listening to lately, music-wise? What have you been listening to? Oh, big pass interference.
Honestly, just a little bit of this and that. You know,
Juice WRLD.
Juice WRLD. You know, Post Malone dropped a new album for the Post Malone fans out there. Obviously, Caleb's not a fan of new music.
No. If an artist is still alive, their music's not.
But hey, Caleb did get me into a Kygo song with featuring Whitney Houston, who's obviously passed.
It was in her archive. So her family estate has archives. Okay, so if y'all haven't heard the song "Higher Love" by Steve Winwood, I pray for you and your families. I'm sure your fathers are very disappointed in you.
People know it.
If you haven't heard that song, though, you're a failure. But it's an amazing song. It's called Higher Love by Steve Winwood. But Whitney Houston had a version. She recorded it way back when, and it was kept in her family ark. Touchdown, Robert Woods. Dadgummit. Oh, flag, going back, holding. I'm pulling for the Saints. The Saints are my favorite NFC team, but I'm a Steelers fan at heart. But the song, the Houston family, her family's archives, whatever, they had reached out to Kygo to make it a more modern-day version of the song, but it's called Higher Love. It's very good. The original by Steve Winwood is 10 times better, but this version is really good. You can actually understand the words better, too, because she's American English, so she's not like, you can understand her lyrics better, but he's British, so it's kind of hard to distinguish what he's saying sometimes.
Hard for us.
But the song is amazing. If you haven't heard it, actually I could play a clip of it in a second. Keep talking though. Tell us what else you've been listening to. Tell us what you've been watching on Netflix when you watch Netflix.
I haven't been really watching Netflix, but I just watched a lot of football lately these days. You know,
plug us on a show you like.
Obviously, The Big Bang Theory has.
That's a good show.
They're finished with that one. I'll talk about movies here. Saw It Chapter 2. I liked it. It was good, enjoyable for me. Caleb, on the other hand, didn't like it as much. But, hey, if you like scary movies with some comedy, it's the way to go. It Chapter 1, It Chapter 2.
I still haven't seen It Chapter 1, which is probably my mistake leading up to 2.
See it.
I'm going to watch it soon.
You'll like it.
But I heard I heard 1 is really good, but It Chapter 2 was awful. I'm about to play this song. Hold on 1 second. Okay, yeah, but It Chapter 2 was awful. The storyline was terrible. They didn't show Pennywise enough. It wasn't good. I just didn't like it at all. There's a lot of holes. I heard the first one was really good. I'll check it out soon.
I mean, it's almost more comedy than scary.
I like that. That's fine with me. But the second one was just stupid. It was anticlimactic, and I just didn't enjoy it. All right, y'all, here's a clip from Higher Love by Steve Winwood.
Oh.
So I'm about to bust out and jam to singing this song because it's such a good song. I'm gonna
classic
play
right
the
there, for sure.
I'm gonna play the Whitney Houston version too. I'll play part of it. Hold on one second. All right, y'all listen to this. I'm gonna get to the chorus. Things look so bad, falling behind. I like it. I genuinely love it.
Yeah.
But the C. Winwood version is just, it's unbeatable, man.
It is.
If you guys are interested,
Apples and oranges, you know?
what happened? Yeah, but if you
Because you got the modern day version and you got the original, of course.
yeah, if you like old school music like I do, or if you haven't listened to a lot of old school music lately, I've been listening to a lot of Grateful Dead. They have a song. The band name, their music doesn't sound like the band name.
Yeah.
You'd think they'd be like, Satan, but they're not. They're not that kind of band. They have like bluegrass kind of country and funk kind of music. It's really good. They have a song called.
I've been listening to all like Mumford & Sons.
Mumford & Sons is good.
I love the Mumford & Sons. Great group. Really want to see them. I was actually enough to see Kygo this year. Put on a
Hangout Fest.
Yes,
I should have gone with you.
it was good. Fun time.
I had to work. I work full time.